Okay, well, welcome. We are so excited to share the information that we have with you tonight. My name is Julie. I'll be your hostess, but you're going to get to hear from Jess and Danielle and maybe a little bit from Erica as well. We'll see. But we are just excited about the information that we have to share. It'll be brief, just right at or under 30 minutes, but we appreciate you taking your time because I'm pretty sure at the end of it, you'll find that it was a valuable 30 minutes. We are a part of this amazing community called the Healthy Living Revolution, and our goal is to come alongside of individuals and families and to help them take their health back in ways that are simple, doable, and fun. So we're going to start out with some education, followed by a simple solution, and then some stories. So one of the reasons that we're so passionate today is because there are two very startling trends that are happening in our world. And the first is that our environmental toxins are increasing. So whether this is products that you're putting on your skin, the air that you're breathing, the water that you're drinking, the pharmaceuticals you're taking, the food that you're eating, our world is so much more toxic today than it was for our ancestors. And at the same time that our world is becoming more toxic, our food quality is severely decreasing. So I love this image because this gentleman is shopping around the center aisles of the grocery store. And I know I made an important shift in my wellness journey years ago, and I decided to stop looking at the calories and fat in my food and to start looking at the ingredients. And I was shocked when I realized that most of what I was eating wasn't really even food, but it was more food-like products. It was full of ingredients that I couldn't pronounce and things that I didn't recognize. And what's really scary about that is that our food should really be our first line of defense against this increase in toxicity, but it's actually one of our biggest contributors. So it's full of preservatives, enhancers, synthetic vitamins, and artificial colors, and it's exacerbating the problem. So now I always aim for less than 5 ingredients and all ingredients that I can pronounce, but if you aren't already looking at your ingredients in your food, I highly encourage you to do so. But the results of our environment becoming more toxic and our food quality severely decreasing is really scary. So this is Dr. David Katz. He's head of prevention at Yale University. I actually had the honor of seeing him speak in person, and he's absolutely brilliant. But he shared years ago that this may be the first generation of children to have a shorter life expectancy than their parents. Since he said that, it's been proven true. In fact, last month, the CDC decreased the life expectancy from 77 to 74. Which is really scary because we are at a time when we have more medical advances than we have ever had. So the fact that we are doing something that is causing our children to have a shorter life expectancy should be a reason to make us want to shift something, right? By age 12, many of our children have developed the beginning stages of hardening of the arteries. 1 in 3 children is obese, 1 in 3 will develop diabetes, and more than 25% of children take prescription drugs on a regular basis. This is Dr. Bill Sears. He's known as America's pediatrician, and he shares that really us adults aren't doing any better. So 1 in 3 people live with some form of cardiovascular disease. 1 in 3 women will have cancer, and 1 in 2 men. And I want to repeat that because I think it's staggering, and I think it's shocking that it's not more widely known that 1 in 3 women will have cancer and 1 in 2 men. 1 in 3 will have diabetes by 2050, and 1 in 3 is obese. But that's the end of the depressing information. The reason that we're passionate and the reason why we're getting on this call and the reason why we're excited to share this information is because of this big quote here at the bottom: 75% of all chronic disease is preventable. And I know my health journey started with my mom's diagnosis with rheumatoid arthritis, which is a chronic lifestyle-related disease. So while there are definitely situations that we have no control over, the truth is that many Americans are dying of lifestyle-related diseases. And we shouldn't feel guilt and overwhelmed by that. We should feel empowered. And that's why I'm excited to share this information. So oxidative stress is linked to poor health. Well, what the heck is oxidative stress? Well, as long as you're breathing, you have it. So there's nothing you can do. We all are dealing with oxidative stress, but there are things that we can do that increase oxidative stress. For example, being pregnant, exercise, staying up late, drinking and smoking. So it could be good behaviors, it could be bad behaviors, but if they're taxing on your body, they're increasing your oxidative stress. And oxidative stress is the root of all disease, aging, and death. So what it is, kind of on more of a molecular level, is that we have free radicals in our body that are just pinging our cells millions of times a day, and they are causing damage to our cells every time that we hit them. But God knew that we would have stress in our life, and he gave us kind of a brilliant plan. And he loaded up antioxidants with electrons. So when we eat antioxidants, they donate an electron to these free radicals that are going crazy in our body, damaging our cells. And when they donate that electron, it neutralizes the free radical and it stops it from damaging our cells. So a really great way to think about it is to imagine an apple. When you cut open an apple and that flesh is exposed to the air, that apple begins to brown, to rust, to age. But we know if we take lemon juice, an antioxidant, and we squeeze it over the flesh of that apple, it delays the aging process. And that's really what antioxidants do in our body. They are anti-aging, internally and externally. So we all know where we get antioxidants from, right? From fruits and vegetables. But today's mass-produced produce is packing a much less nutritional punch. So there's two main reasons for this. The first is soil depletion, which I'm not going to get into tonight. But you should know about it, so Google it and learn up on it if you are not aware. But the second is that it's mass produced. So I can go to the grocery store up the street and get just about any fruit or vegetable that I'd like. It's available to me at any time. But in order for that to happen, we are picking our fruits and vegetables far before they are vine ripened. And our fruits and vegetables get over 80% of their nutrition within the last 24 to 48 hours of ripening on the vine. So I've heard it be likened to a baby, and I think this is really cool, and it makes a lot of sense. You know, we know the difference of a baby at 40 weeks and 38 weeks, and a baby at 38 weeks and 36 weeks, and 36 and 34. And what, you know, the way it's designed is that baby is meant to be connected to its nutrient source for 40 weeks. And that's how our fruits and vegetables are as well. They're meant to be connected to the vine. They are the baby of that plant. And we are pulling them away way too soon. And the results of this is very scary. This is the iron content that was present in a bowl of spinach in 1953. And in 1997, you had to eat 43 bowls of spinach to get the same iron content that you got in 1953. And I actually believe that this image describes, or is a bit, explains a big piece of those really scary statistics from those doctors earlier. Because we all know that fruits and vegetables are good for us. We're all doing our best. But the truth is that we're fighting an uphill battle, and our food is very much depleted. And this is just iron that we're talking about here in a bowl of spinach. What a lot of people don't know, and it's relatively newer research, is that our plants are full of way more nutrients than we originally thought. So back in the 1950s and the 1960s, we thought there were 12 essential nutrients in plants. That's when we came up with the multivitamin, because we knew we were not, getting enough. So we decided to take these 12 man-made, isolated, synthetic, put it in a multivitamin. We thought we were bridging the gap, but as we know, we have not gotten any healthier in the last, 50 to 70 years. But what we've also started learning is that there's much more. So an apple, for example, there's a list right here of 400 named ingredients in an apple, but they've actually located over 20,000 unique nutrients in an apple. They found over 25,000 in a blueberry and over 14,000 in an avocado. And many people believe we're just scratching the surface, that we'll probably never really know. It's almost like trying to guess the amount of stars in the sky. But we're just sort of piecing together the effect of whole food and the fact that when we eat that apple, all of those nutrients work synergistically together in our body. So a great example is that, an apple itself only has 5.7 milligrams of vitamin C. But when we eat it and we digest it, it's the equivalent of taking a 1,500 milligram megadose isolated vitamin C tablet. And that's because that vitamin C is working with all those other 19,000 nutrients to do what it does in our body. Another really cool fact is that lycopene is found in a tomato, and it's known to fight prostate cancer. But they're finding that when they remove the lycopene from the tomato, it has no effect on the cancer. And that's because that lycopene is working with all of those ingredients as well. So, we went down the route of isolated synthetic vitamins, but what we're learning is that we really don't have a vitamin deficiency. We have a whole food deficiency, and we need more of the real thing. So for a long time, the government said 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. And then they realized we needed more, so they increased it to 7 to 13. But that's if you're healthy and you don't exercise. If you're pregnant, fighting disease, or if you exercise, which I think most everyone falls into one of those 3 categories, you actually need 16 to 18 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. I've read some studies that say that within the next 50 years, we will need 30 servings of fruits and vegetables a day to fight the increase in toxicity in our environment. And the government did this big campaign that says more matters. And they're right. Here's the deal. Nobody is getting too many fruits and vegetables in their diet today. Even if you're trying really hard, even if you eat a better than a standard American diet, you don't have too much of this with what we're up against. So I am so thankful. I know Jess and Danielle and Erica are thankful that at some point in our journey, somebody introduced us to Juice Plus. And I really love to give the backstory of Juice Plus because it's really just so cool. It was developed over 30 years ago by a doctor. His name was Dr. Smokey Santillo, and he was more of a holistic practitioner who helped cancer patients juice. And his dad was diagnosed with lymphoma, and he was given 3 weeks to live. He actually wasn't even walking. Dr. Smokey carried him out of the hospital, and he decided he had to find a way to make his juice more powerful. So instead of juicing the fruits and vegetables, he was going to take the whole thing with the pit, the peel, the rind, the seeds, even the leaves whenever possible, because much of the nutrition is in the parts that we throw away. He took the whole thing, he put it in a Vitamix, blended it up. It resulted in a slurry. And then he took that slurry and he dehydrated it at a cold temperature to preserve the nutrients. And that resulted in a powder. So our capsules are full of powder. And he ended up just pumping his dad full of this powder. And he lived for 6 more years. Not only did he live, but he had quality of life, which is so rare in cancer patients today. And that was really when he knew that he was onto something. So it took him a couple of years, but he looked for a company like this that shares products in this manner, because this has to be explained as you're learning. It's not a vitamin. It's food in a capsule. It can't sit on a store shelf. It would go bad. And when he did find that company, we have now been on the market for 25 years. Juice Plus has been on the market. So I want you to take a minute to just look at this image and to look at this color and this variety. I'll say some of these things. We have acerola cherries, beets, peaches, cabbage, blackberries, bilberries. I didn't even know those existed. Elderberry, parsley, prunes, mangoes. I want you to look at all the variety, and I want you to know that food is information to your body. So if they want to test you for breast cancer, they give you the same mineral every time that when you consume it, it goes straight to your breast. And all of those ingredients that you saw in an apple, all of those unique nutrients do the same thing in your body every single time. And so what's so cool is that imagine if you could get this information into your body every single day, every single month, every single year, the compound effect that that would have. Because I talk to a lot of people who say, you know what, I eat a lot of fruits, I just need more greens. And the truth is we all need more of all of it because it's a variety. And with our diet, we get such little variety. So I love that about Juice Plus, but let's talk about what makes it unique. And the first is my favorite. This is food. So it has a nutrition label. I don't know if you can see that. A nutrition label, not a vitamin or a supplement label. You cannot overdose. There's no warning label. If you can eat a salad, you can eat Juice Plus. When my kids are 6 months old, I take the capsules, I open them up, and I put the powder in their food because they can eat food now. They can eat Juice Plus. And that makes sense to me. So it's full of phytonutrition. What you saw that was in an apple, that's in this product, not isolated synthetic ingredients. It's non-GMO, dairy-free, and gluten-free. It's NSF certified, which is a third party that verifies that what we say is in our product is and nothing more. It's the highest level of certification you can receive. We've had it for over 20 years. But what I love about it is that's what ensures that those powders are free of any herbicides, pesticides, fungicides, yeast, mold, bacteria, and heavy metals, which is even better than I can say for the organic produce that I buy at the store. But also our NSF certification is what allows professional and Olympic athletes to take Juice Plus. We're actually the official nutritional support of the USA women's volleyball team that was just announced. And it's because of that certification that we can be so. And then finally, when Juice Plus hit the market, over 25 years ago, people had unique experiences, and you'll hear about that in a second. But they decided they wanted to see, what is this doing on human beings with blood drawn? And we are the most researched nutritional product in the world. We have 38 published studies with 9 underway. We've been researched at MD Anderson Cancer Center, Vanderbilt, Yale, some of the most prestigious facilities here in the States and abroad. I'm going to take a minute to tell you my favorite study because it's amazing. So this was the brainchild of a group of cardiologists. It was done at the University of Maryland and published in the JACC, which I learned from some pharmaceutical reps that is an impossible journal to get into. So I think that that's pretty cool. But these cardiologists know that over 50% of heart attacks happen 4 hours after a high-fat meal. It's why Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter coming up are terrible days in the emergency room because people are consuming these high-fat meals. So they wanted to see the effects of Juice Plus on heart health, which is the number one killer of both men and women, by the way. They took a group of people to McDonald's and they fed them a pretty standard McDonald's breakfast. They waited 4 hours and they measured the constriction in their brachial artery. So that's this gray bar right here, okay? So you can see that everyone had about 40 to 50% constriction. That's how hard their body was working 4 hours after that meal, which is crazy in itself. But then they divided the group up into three. They put one group on a placebo, one group on our fruits and our veggies, and then the last group was on all three, our fruits, veggies, and our berry blend. And they waited just 28 days. So the purple bar is 28 days later. Took them back to McDonald's, fed them the same meal, waited 4 hours, measured the constriction in their artery. You can see the placebo group had a slight reduction. They also had the least amount of constriction to begin with. The group on the group on our fruits and our veggies, they had a reduction in constriction of over 60%. But then the group on all three with our berries, they went from almost 50% constriction down to less than 1%. And the reason why I love this study is, number one, it was only 28 days. And number two, these people changed nothing else. So I think in a time when wellness is definitely cool, we are learning so much and we are trying so hard to be perfect, or we aren't doing anything. And the truth is, it's not about being perfect. Your body recognizes what is good. In fact, I read some pregnancy studies that say you're better off adding in more good than you are eliminating the bad. But that's not really true for just pregnancy. That's true for everyone all the time. So your body, their bodies responded to fruits and vegetables in a capsule, and it knew exactly what to do with it. It wasn't about them being perfect at every other meal. It was about them taking the next right step, and I love that. So we also have these delicious shakes. They come in chocolate and vanilla. Our family lives off of them. They are so good, but these will actually fill your belly. Our company saw that we have an abundance of macronutrition in our country, but very little of it is of high quality, and that's where our shakes come in. So they're low glycemic. They stabilize your blood sugar. The number one thing my friends tell me is these actually keep me full, and it's not because they have 50 grams of protein. It's because they keep your blood sugar stable. They're vegan and non-GMO, gluten and dairy free. They're full of plants and powerful prebiotic fibers and oligosaccharides. Oligosaccharides help to heal the lining of your gut, which is really important in a time when many of us are dealing with leaky gut issues. And then finally, this October is going to mark 2 years that we've had our Juice Plus Omega Blend. And what our company saw is that most of us are deficient in high quality omegas, and we know that they're good for heart, brain, joints, skin, and eyes, but many of us are bridging the gap with the fish oil, which has a couple problems. Number one, it's not sustainable. It takes 3 to 4 pounds of fish to get 1 ounce of fish oil, and we are already over farming our fish. And number two, they're toxic. We started this whole conversation with the point that our world is more toxic. So we decided to skip the fish and go straight to the algae where the fish get their omega oils from. And we made it full plants, 100% plant-based omega, and all of the omegas. It's omega 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9. But what's really cool is we have the technology to cold press our capsules, which is really, really important because whenever they heat up a capsule, they heat up the oil inside of them, and that degrades the quality of the oil. So I was honestly annoyed when we launched our omega product. I thought we had the best product line. I didn't know why we were messing with perfection. But it got rid of my anxiety. And so now I think that it's the coolest thing ever. And listening to the stories of what it's doing for joints and eye health is just really, really fun. So I'm now a lover of our Omega Blend. But I'm going to close this out with a quote from Dr. Richard Du Bois. He was one of the first of now thousands of healthcare professionals to recommend Juice Plus, including Erica on our call tonight. He has been named America's top doc. He was head of infectious disease in Atlanta, Georgia. And he said, there is nothing available anywhere else in the world with or without a prescription that has been clinically proven to do what Juice Plus does. And that really sums it up. So at this point, I'm going to ask Jess to unmute herself and just share with us why she decided to add in Juice Plus and what she's seen. Take it away.
Sure. So thanks, Julie. So yeah, I added Juice Plus in over 4 years ago. Julie was the one that introduced it to me. And so thinking back to that time, I mean, I always was trying to eat pretty healthy, but I also knew that I wasn't getting enough fruits and vegetables. So taking that picture that Julie showed with all of the different fruits and vegetables, when she told me that there was kale, cabbage, broccoli, papaya, pomegranate, like all of that stuff in a capsule form, I thought, sign me up, like sold. I was okay with hitting the easy button because I knew that I needed more of the good. I just wasn't getting enough. And so I didn't have any health issues when I got started. And so I've, again, maintained a pretty good health. But what I have noticed over the years is just a great, strong immune system, good gut health, skin, clarity, eyesight has gotten better, energy level. So I just feel, after taking it for 5 years, just really good from the inside out. And what was really, I think, kind of life changing, that sounds crazy, but knowing that I can give this to Raylan, I started giving it to her at 6 months. Now they do have chewables for kids, but she chews the capsules. Like, she just is okay with that because she's taken it since she was a baby. And she's going through like a spurt right now where she doesn't want to eat anything. And so it's frustrating because I'm trying to feed her good meals and she doesn't want to eat, but that's life. And so at the end of the day, I can only do so much. And she takes these capsules. She takes all 4 of them. So again, it's just peace of mind that I'm doing good stuff for myself, my family, and we just know that the body knows what to do with fruits and vegetables, and just the power that this gives you to fuel your body. And what Julie said, it's giving you more of the good to kind of offset some of the bad, because we can't be perfect all the time. So it's just been super helpful for myself and my family. And I'm really thankful that Julie introduced it to me a little over 4 years ago.
And your skin looks amazing. So that's awesome.
Well, thank you. After a long day.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. No, you hit the nail on the head. The peace of mind is huge for us moms. Yeah. So at this point, I'll have Danielle unmute herself and just share her story with us. Take it away.
Yeah, so I was introduced through Jess, obviously, but my journey has been like a little less than a year. So after I had my baby, my 3-year-old now, which is crazy, it took me 3 years to kind of start doing stuff for myself again. And I really got serious about, I wanted to be a good example for her. And I was like, I'm 30. At some point in my life, I have to decide if I'm going to adopt like a healthy lifestyle, and I just wanted to be a good example for her. So I knew Jess had done this. I heard the facts on what this can do for your body and the chronic illness and like preventative disease. I want to be healthy for my family. So that, to piggyback on what Jess said, one of the things that I'm, obviously what it's done for me, but for Lennon, she does the gummies. I was giving her like the Flintstone gummies every day. And this is just something in the last couple months. And like every morning she comes running in, like I take my vitamins, she asked for hers. And like, gosh, how trying the 3s have been. Like, it's just one mom win that it makes me like want to cry, that like, oh my gosh, at least I'm doing something right for her and myself. So Julie briefly talked about the complete shakes, and I think I was always just stumped on like, what the heck am I going to eat for lunch every day? I'm a working mom. I try my best to like pack what I can, but we're on the go a lot. We're in different offices, and that complete shake has just been an awesome start to my day, which goes back to like, I kick off my morning throwing these fruits and veggies into my body. It just helps my mindset throughout the day of like, okay, think about what you just did. Like, how can I kind of, continue to do that throughout the day? So the shakes have been super cool. And then, like I said, it's just been a huge mom win really in the last couple months for Lennon too.
Oh my gosh, I could listen to you guys all night. You're so right? It's just one thing that's kind of off of our plate. I remember Jess saying this earlier, like, it's one thing she doesn't have to think about, which is so assuring. I found this product. I hope my face is not as weirdly red for you guys as it is for me, but I found Juice Plus almost 5 years ago. I'm like a tomato down here. I found Juice Plus 5 years ago, and I had just had my firstborn. He was 3 months old. And it just made sense. I had seen that I remembered my uncle took it like 17 years prior when he was fighting cancer. And so I knew it had to be unique. And when I learned what it was, I was like, oh my gosh, if I'm going to invest in anything every day, every week, every month, every year for the rest of my life, it's got to be our health. I mean, there's nothing worth investing in more. And if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. So it was a total no-brainer to me. And I got started on it with zero expectations, because I really don't think, we don't eat a salad every day because we feel totally different afterwards. We eat a salad because we know it's good for us. And that's how I looked at Juice Plus. And so I was always sick. I had terrible allergies that would lead to sinus infections. I would be on an antibiotic about every 6 to 8 weeks. That was like my whole childhood and college life. And it was so the normal that I didn't even notice it anymore. So 2 months in, when I hadn't had my first sinus infection, I was pretty shocked. And here I am over 4.5 years later. I have not been on an antibiotic in 4.5 years. And we just kicked off the call talking about allergies, and look at me. I mean, I'm good. And I'll tell you about allergies. It's gotten better every single year. It didn't go away right away, but it has improved every year. And that makes me really happy, because that's your immune system. If you're responding really bad to allergies, your immune system is imbalanced. And my mom has rheumatoid arthritis, so that's another autoimmune disease. And I was walking the path for sure to that. And this has just been such a wonderful addition. Also, I just found I had more energy. I found I was happier, which I later learned over 80% of our serotonin is made in our gut. So I was just finally feeding my gut what it needed, and my gut knew what to do with that. And so what's the most fun really is sharing it with others and getting to hear their stories and see what they notice. But in a crazy world where we don't know what to do and we're all working on getting better, this is just a simple solution. So we really invite you to do one of three things. First, maybe you're just really encouraged to eat more fruits and vegetables. And if that's how you feel right now, we empower you to do so. Go to the store and make those right changes that you're ready for. But two, maybe you're ready to add in Juice Plus. We have an amazing program where any adult who takes Juice Plus can sponsor any child for free, age 4 through 18 or full-time college undergrad, for up to 4 years. So there are ways for you to get it into you and your body very affordably. So if you're curious about getting started on Juice Plus, please talk to the person that invited you. And then finally, if you're like me, me and Jess and Danielle and Erica, when we learned this information, we couldn't keep it to ourselves. And so we love sharing this, more than you know. So if you thought of people, when you saw this presentation, if you thought of your sister, your mom, your cousin, please let the person know who invited you, because that's really the mission that we're on. We're on a mission to inspire healthy living around the world, and we just want to get this message out to as many people as we can. So at this point, I'm going to stop the recording, and